everyone, AG here. Welcome back to the channel. I noticed I almost have 100 subscribers, so super stoked about that. Keep it going. Before we get started with this video, a message from my wife.
Like, comment, follow, subscribe, and share.
So I think it'd be irresponsible of me before we got started for me not to suggest that you go get checked out before you get started on any program that you want to do. In fact, I even have a heart rate monitor and a blood pressure machine on call when needed. With that being said, let's talk about the program. The program, when I think food, I think diet. But when I add other variables to the diet, I think program, okay? When I also think diet, I do believe diets work, if not all of them, if you're consistent with the diet. The one thing that my program can't bring you is effort and consistency. You're going to have to get that on your own. I also suggest that you take pictures on a weekly basis, usually at the same day, same time. I usually do front and back. And then also I suggest perhaps printing out something like this and doing measurements on all your muscles. And what that gives you is an understanding how symmetrical you are or aren't. And it also gives you an understanding of another measurable way to assess your progress. This program that I'm giving you is the easiest, most productive program that I could find and put together that works for me. Obviously, all these topics that I speak about could easily be its own video and even expanded even further than that. So please feel free to tweak or change anything in this program to fit you, mostly because none of us are in the same place. So for a daily explanation of what I'm doing, I've decided to create a vlog and then actually process every single thing I do every day and give updates and whatnot. So I'm basically going to practice what I preach and get ready at the same time that I'm sharing these videos. Now let's talk about food. Obviously, I have food hacks, a couple videos back that you can check out in a whole lot more detail than what I'm going to tell you today. But since this is the first month, I would begin by obviously the intermittent fasting, like I mentioned, and I'd take about the first 2 weeks before I'd switch over to a 5-6 meal plan. How would I eat my food? Obviously, again, I would make a list of all the food that I like, and then I'd make another list from that list that would help me achieve my objectives and eat the right food. So where to start with the amount of food that you eat? I would go to a basal metabolic rate calculator, plug in everything you need to plug in, and take that number and add it to 500. With my macros, I would do 1 gram of protein per body weight pound. I would do 50 grams of fat, and I'd make the rest in carbs. In my food hack video, I mentioned a default meal. I highly suggest you try to find that meal, especially the sooner the better. So you can always reference food hacks for the one meal that's my favorite. And now I want to show you another one that's my second favorite, and it'll be one of your favorites too. Okay, one of my favorite meals is I'm going to take turkey, cook it in a skillet, cook the turkey first, and then I'm going to add some seasoning, while I'm cooking the turkey, and then at the end I'm going to add mushrooms and chives. Now I want to talk about cream of rice with egg whites, and I also mix some ground turkey with mushrooms and onions. Now to not screw this up, and also since it's a little bit complicated to make, I always make twice as much, so I have 2 meals. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 6 egg whites to a bowl, and then I'm going to add 4 ounces, which is 2 cups of cream of rice. Okay, now that I added the cream of rice to the egg whites, I don't know, about 6 ounces of water. I give it a little stir, and I put it in the microwave for 1.5 minutes. After the 1.5 minutes, I like to give it a little spin with the blender. It then goes back in the microwave for another 1.5 minutes. Okay, after the second time in the microwave for 1.5 minutes, I take it out. I like to add some cheese, and then I also like to give it some salt. Again, keep in mind, if you go with these measurements, I have made 2 servings for myself. Okay, after you spin it up with everything, it kind of has looks like that. Okay. The next thing I like to do is I like to add the turkey that I mentioned, which is, boom. Now, I use a 1 cup. That 1 cup basically gives me about 40 grams of protein. So I do 2 scoops because it's 2 servings. Then I eat it. Yum. I want to touch on water and supplements. Water, I don't think you need any more than a gallon. And the key is for it to be measurable. So I like carrying around a gallon jug. Also, there's times where I get tired and sick of water, probably like many people do. And I like to add stuff to it. BCAAs, calorie count, taste-wise, seems to be the winner for me. Okay. Supplements. So I'm one of those guys that's not a huge believer in supplements. I do believe in a sleep aid. I do believe in whey protein, isolate preferably. And also I'd like creatine. Training. So I believe in frequency, so I try to hit every muscle twice a week. My splits, how I do everything, obviously all this can be expanded on other videos. But for today, just know that I actually hit everything twice a week. Large body parts with about 8 sets, and I do my smaller body parts with about 4 to 6 sets. The reason why I don't do a lot of sets is I have found that when I know I don't have to do as much, I can actually try harder. And I know that sounds odd. Cardio. Now, this is the part of the program that you need to pay attention to. I do about 15 to 20 minutes of a warm-up before I actually do my resistance training. But this program has a special component. I'd like for you to pick 3 activities and do each activity after you eat. So I want you to remind yourself this activity is because we need to find a way to improve our digestion and stay engaged in our quest. Okay? So the first one would be in the morning. And how I figured out mine was I give mine a separate theme. In the morning, I like movement. So I got an exercise bike. And where I put it matters as well, as you can see. I'll get into that in a moment. My second one is around lunchtime. My theme is I always wanted to improve my core and have this great core. So I would plank, okay? And then at night, I wanted to improve my relationship with my wife. And so one of the things I did was we'd go for walks after we eat. I might massage her. I might do chores around the house that I normally wouldn't do. And it works. Again, let me emphasize that whatever activity you pick, it's all about movement. And it's all about a gradual progression in time and adding to that. And over a period of like 2-3 months, you'll be pleasantly surprised at the results. There's also a psychological component that I implemented in my program, and that's to help me stay engaged. Where I place my bike helps me stay engaged. What I have when I look in the refrigerator with my Tupperware helps me stay engaged. I mentioned something about having water measurable in a container daily. Having that container helps me stay engaged. Gym time helps me stay engaged. The activities that I do after the 3 meals, again, food digestion and staying engaged. Posting photos on the wall, and when I walk by them, it helps me stay engaged. These are all the little things that helps me stay engaged to where it becomes eventually a habit. Okay, guys, I hope that all helped. Thank you again for watching.